Then there's this on Wednesday night, 49ers with a little heartbreak. Eric Kendricks, after the report this morning around 3 a.m. Pacific that Kendricks was going to be a 49er, and we talked about it. I thought it was a good signing. I liked where he graded out. I like what he brought them as a third linebacker, really a second linebacker, and then it gives Dre Greenlaw. It was a double whammy. It was a solid player, not a great player, but a solid player who also gives Dre Greenlaw time. Now the whole day's passed. Now maybe the Niners knew earlier than everybody else knew that they were about to be out of the Eric Kendricks business. But around just before 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific, Adam Schefter, Kendricks changed his mind. Instead of becoming a Niner, he's going to go to the Cowboys. Schefter writes, another change of heart. After agreeing to a deal with the 49ers, former Chargers and Vikings linebacker Eric Kendricks has decided to go to the Dallas Cowboys instead. Per sources, Mike Zimmer wanted Kendricks to help run his defense, and Kendricks preferred to play in Dallas. So a few things jump out. One, no state income tax. Two, Mike Zimmer wanted him to run his defense. There's two things there. One would be Mike Zimmer's in charge of the defense. So if it was Mike Zimmer versus Brandon Staley, then Mike Zimmer won out there. And three, Zimmer wants him to run his defense. So three things, definitely two things we know going against the Niners. The number one thing in that note there from Schefter is this guy's coming in to run the defense. He's not running the defense if he's the 49ers linebacker. And even then, he's kind of a placeholder for Dre Greenlaw. So if he's really going to be, I don't know if they're going to put a C on his chest, but he's got the green dot on the helmet, then that's a big deal. Played for Mike Zimmer in Minnesota, and that's a pretty attractive thing to him. You factor in played for the guy, so enjoyed his time, had a lot more success with Mike Zimmer than he had with Brandon Staley. Enjoyed his time for Mike Zimmer, get the green dot, no state income tax. That's significant. So were the Cowboys waiting around? Mike Zimmer pound the table, like, we cannot let this guy get there. This guy's the key to the whole thing. Did he convince Jerry Jones? I mean, you would think that the Cowboys and Mike Zimmer had talked to Eric Kendricks at some point or another. Did they slow play it? Kendricks takes the Niners offer, and then the Cowboys call and say, hey, before you sign this deal, let us see if we can let Mike work on Jerry and Stephen Jones and see if we can get you what you want. And eventually they do. Maybe that's not cheating. That's not tampering. If he hadn't signed the contract yet, it's legit. I mean, they swooped in, but I think it does make it hurt a little more. Now they need a linebacker. Can they go coach up Jalen Graham? I don't think he's ready for that. Maybe he becomes that guy. I don't think you can go into this season with any hope that you can have hope, but you cannot go into the season expecting that that's just your plan. That cannot be your plan. Your plan, I don't think your plan can be, hopefully Dre Greenlaw gets healthy. And if not, then Jalen Graham. Dre Greenlaw being cleared to return. Let's just say, because the surgeon did the report, said everything went well, or he came out after the surgery, said everything went well. People go, great, 9 months, he'll be back. Let's just say he's back in 9 months. That doesn't mean he's back to playing every day in 9 months. That doesn't mean he's cleared to return to game action in 9 months. That doesn't mean, let's say he's cleared to play and he's available every day, that he's the same guy. Doesn't mean there's not there are so many factors with an Achilles injury and a player who plays as hard as Dre Greenlaw. I said it this morning on a stream, for Greenlaw, you're going to have to, based on everything we know about him, you're going to have to kind of dial him back, right? You're going to have to manage it. Dre, take it slow, be patient, take it slow, be patient. And you as a team need to be patient. So, you need another guy. And right now, there's just not a lot of great options out there. Devin White is still out there, but he's a bigger name than he is a great linebacker at this point. Jerome Baker, I don't think has signed. More of a coverage guy than a run. The thing I liked about Kendricks was he was good in run support, which is what the Niners, need. He wasn't going to be Dre Greenlaw against the pass, but he'd be helpful against the run. Josie Jewell is going to Carolina. Blake Cashman went to Minnesota. Willie Gay went to the Saints. Like, there's just not. I'm looking at a lot of the free agents that you would have thought were out there, guys that were even kind of available here these last few days, and a lot of them gone. So it's a tough spot. I don't think you want to go Levante David re-sign with the Bucks. Aziz Al-Shire gone and expensive. Like, we never saw the money on Kendricks. So I was inclined to believe it was like $4 million, something like that. I guessed it was at least half. Bobby Wagner. Somebody asked Bobby Wagner. I think the latest report was that he's going to Washington. $8.5 million. NFL Network reported an hour ago or a few hours ago. $8.5 million, $6 million in guaranteed for Bobby Wagner. So it sucks losing the guy for the Niners. It sucks missing out on the day that you could have signed another linebacker when it's a need. Like, what I liked about it is you just check the box off and move on to other stuff. Move on to corner. Move on to Joey Bosa, that sort of thing. Chris says Greenlaw needs to change his technique to avoid further Achilles issues. You can't all out that downward force without keeping the heel planted. Take your word for that. Hopefully the physical therapists are on that. I guess you could look at, are there other, I didn't do this here before we jumped on here, but I think the first thing you'd think about is like, who are guys that have played for Brandon Staley? We'd have to do a little cross-reference list on that. Other guys out there. Staley's not the DC, but he's going to have, you would think some influence here. Man, brutal. So we got to go through the list. I mean, maybe that means Oren Burks is back. Am I sure who's not? Yeah. Tough spot. So maybe that means, Bobby's gone. I guess you could try and do to somebody else what they did to you, but some of these guys are gone. Yeah, man. Brutal. Got to adjust. Will they go back to somebody that they know? I just don't think you can rely on the young guys. I don't think you can rely on the guys that you just have around and hope that they hit. So there you go. That's the news. That is Wednesday night. We'll see how quickly they're able to adjust, how long they've known about it, and whether or not they've got to move. Raider guy wants to laugh. Is there a Raider linebacker you can take? All right, everybody. That's the quick update. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon. Later.